Alchemist Astrologer, and this is your June forecast for Taurus Sun, Taurus Rising, and Taurus Moon. You are represented by the Page of Swords and the Eight of Swords. So there's strong air energy. Perhaps you have air in your chart, or maybe you're dealing with a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising, male or female, or just the traits of the page are important. It could be you're dealing with someone younger than yourself. You may be trying to figure something out, find something out, do some research, investigate something to come up with some answers. You may even be prying into the affairs of your partner, or they may be doing that to you. And it's likely that you're trying to figure out some kind of solution where perhaps you feel stuck or held back. Maybe you've been going in circles trying to come up with some answers, some solutions to a situation. And thus far, you feel a mental block about that. So there, in some ways, you feel held back. But this is likely to be a mental state. That it's mostly in your head. Either you don't have the confidence to move forward, you don't have the information, you don't trust your intuition, or you're blinding yourself to the facts. So again, you're trying to figure something out, and you may be having some important conversations with your partner. Now, if things don't go well, maybe there's some sarcasm or some harsh words, and you start to notice some things about your partner that you really don't like, some less appealing traits, or they see that in you. But there is an opportunity to have an important conversation, to get some clarity, to see, to figure out some answers, to get to the bottom of something. And you may have a meeting of the minds. You may agree on some things. You may come to a general consensus. So there's an opportunity. Maybe you're waiting for this opportunity. You're having to be patient for the door to open, an opportunity where you initiate. This is something that presents, but you have to take the initiative to make it happen. So you're trying to figure out, maybe you're holding yourself back right now, because the conversation is going to determine where this relationship is headed. Either you're going to get closer to your partner, or because of the words that are exchanged, because you can't agree on something, you may become estranged from one another. Now, your partner is represented by the Justice card and the Ace of Swords. So for some of you, there may be ties to a Libra, or maybe you're connected to someone in the legal profession. But there is a decision to be made concerning some kind of an agreement connected to your partner. Perhaps it is a legal agreement, or there are some decisions that have to be made about trying to restore order and balance to a situation. You've had to make some changes, and they may have come up at the last minute. Some kind of responsibility or obligation, or somebody didn't tell you some news when they should have, and now you're having to backtrack and reorient yourself. You're having to reschedule, change your priorities, change your agenda, refocus, maybe change something about your financial situation based on getting this last minute information. So you're trying to gain some clarity, get some truth, and it may come in the form of some kind of conflict or confrontation, or maybe there's a focus on an agreement or a contract. It could be that, you're waiting, you're holding yourself back from saying what you need to. There's some hesitancy either on your part or your partner's part to speak the truth. Neither one of you are saying what needs to be said. But in the best of worlds, you restore order by putting it out in the open, clearing the air in some way, getting to the truth, gaining some clarity, and perhaps coming up with some kind of brilliant solution. But you're having to deal with some changes in your relationship or your environment, your situation, where some order needs to be restored, some better balance, perhaps taking better care of your health, or shifting the responsibilities, the obligations, determining what is fair. Maybe you're trying to make a choice between two options. There could be difficulty making a decision. It could be settling some old debts. It could be whether those are emotional or financial. This is calling for some integrity on your partner's part or your part, and putting things in proper perspective, trying to remain objective, fair, detached from a situation so that you can make good decisions and not allow any prejudice or preconceived ideas to taint how you make decisions. That may be important for your partner, or that may be important for you. So you're making an important decision, or your partner is. And it could be regarding some dream that your partner has or that you have that connects to finding the one. And maybe this is an agreement about some kind of gift, some tangible expression of love, or finding the ideal partner, the quintessential mate, somebody that possesses all of the character traits that are ideal to you. This is somebody worth spending a lifetime with. So your partner is dreaming of that, maybe trying to make some decisions, maybe making an agreement to offer you something tangible, or making some decisions about what's fair. And the romance is represented by this Four of Wands, which is one of the most fortunate cards in the deck. So it could be that you're trying to figure out what's fair about perhaps moving in together, getting married, some form of celebration, laying down a foundation for your relationship. And you're in the beginning stages of some form of success. Something is happening that may be giving you a green light to move forward with regard to something concerning your partner. So there's cause for celebration, especially if you're coming up with some brilliant solution where you both can win. It's a win-win situation. You're capable of creating some beneficial changes in your relationship. On the other hand, there's a judgment call to be made. You're making a judgment about whether you should perhaps move in, or maybe you're making a judgment about property or family or some celebration. So you're trying to figure out where you stand with regard to something, and you may be looking at it and thinking if you are actually following the best course of action. Should you continue on this road, or is it time to take a left turn? So there's a judgment to be made. Now, if this is a legal situation, you may be actually dealing with judges or somebody in a position to make some kind of decision. So you're questioning some of the things that have occurred. And again, you're trying to figure out, should you keep going on with whatever you're doing? Is this the right thing? And certain issues that you thought were resolved are now coming back alive for you to deal with. So something that maybe you were hoping to avoid or you were putting off is now resurfacing. So something is going to force you to make some kind of decision, and you're going to have to put things in perspective and not allow this change, some kind of accommodation that you're having to do because of either you've decided to make a change, or your partner has, or there's a loss or a setback. You're going to have to keep it in perspective so that it doesn't upend everything about your life. You're going to have to keep it in its proper place. So you're trying to make some decisions and deal with some facts that you wanted to avoid. In spite of that, this new change, this new information, this new fact that you have to deal with, these new developments may be a blessing in disguise for you. Because you're going to find some information out that's going to allow you to backtrack. If you've been going on the wrong course, something is going to clue you in that, hey, I need to stop doing this, or maybe shut this down or move in another direction. So it's going to prevent you from making a bigger mistake or staying on the wrong path. Especially, again, if you have that important conversation and you clear the air. Maybe you're gonna, if your partner has been making some accusations and saying some things that haven't been fair, or vice versa, somebody's gonna get the chance to prove themselves, to vindicate themselves, to exonerate themselves. So you're gonna have to be patient, because something about your situation that may seem like it's not working or it's disastrous, you may be able to turn that around and turn it into some kind of success. So if you're not prepared to deal with loose ends, or you're avoiding issues, you're going to stay stuck in limbo. This is a time, again, for you to be objective, for you to distance yourself from a situation, to see it for what it truly is and deal with the facts. Now, it may be some revelation that you receive about an engagement. You may find out, I don't know, maybe you're involved with somebody who's married, or there's some kind of promise. A revelation comes up regarding some kind of promise, an engagement to be married, some undertaking. Maybe this is a social activity, some form of celebration, but there's a promise of some sort in focus, and there's going to be a revelation about that. And you're making a judgment about whether this is a good thing. It may be cause for celebration, or it could be, again, neither of you can come to terms. No matter what the other person does, one of you is simply not pleased, no matter how hard the other person is trying. And the problem is cooperation. Getting together and having that discussion. Maybe you're in some kind of group dynamic. Maybe you're involved in counseling or therapy, or you're meeting with somebody who can give you some advice. If this is about property, maybe it has to do with your property, problems with that property, things that need to be repaired, restored, redecorated, rejuvenated. So there could be some issues concerning assets. You're seeking some kind of cooperation. You're coming together with your partner, with others, to get some advice, to get some input about what are the strengths and what are the weaknesses. What can we do to improve things? Now, in some cases, perhaps when you do this reassessment, you look at a situation and you realize, yes, I've put in all the effort, the time, the energy. It's time to move forward on this. It's time to move in together. It's time to get married. Push this thing, this project, this goal forward. But some of you may decide that there is a situation where you or your partner, some kind of circumstance where this person is maybe too needy or too dependent or too emotional, and they're becoming dead weight. You're seeing them as baggage. And if you could get rid of them, perhaps you could clear out some of the dust and get on with your life and make some things happen that you really want to make happen. So this, again, is about cooperation, perhaps a face-to-face meeting, some kind of group setting. Maybe this is, seeking some kind of satisfaction, getting what you wish for. So again, cooperation to make your wishes happen. It could be that, you're going to meet in a setting where food and drink is important. A restaurant, a bar, a coffee shop. Maybe you're meeting somebody there, or there's some kind of celebration where that will be important. But this is also about, excess, extravagance. And so you may be looking at something where something may have gone too far. Maybe your partner is smug or arrogant, or maybe you're involved with somebody who's wealthy. Maybe this is somebody who can give you some kind of boost. So you're seeking some satisfaction, and it's important to know what you want with your partner, or what your partner wants, what you desire, because this could be a period where you get that cooperation. For some of you, this is about being satisfied with what happens in court. Maybe there's some kind of decision and agreement that has to do with property or marriage. So it's important to know what you want, because you just may get it. But you're also having to look at where you seek pleasure, where you seek entertainment. Are you dealing with somebody who is an opportunist, who is selfish, who is greedy, who's a player, who's false? So the arena of satisfaction, being comfortable, the physical pleasure, whether that's intimacy with your partner, the comfort of your home. Somebody may be seeking adventure, and this is the problem here, is getting cooperation, being satisfied. Maybe there is an element where somebody is going too far, pushing things to the limit, or there's some kind of excess, maybe drinking too much, or too much infidelity, too much flirting. Or it could be somebody's emotionally closed off, but somebody is constantly, or the perception is that somebody's seeking adventure. and they just want to ride. They just want a fun time. Maybe you're trying to make a decision, trying to figure out if somebody has the potential to be a marriage partner. Or is this just fun? Are we just having a good time? Is this friends with benefits? Or we both enjoy this, but we really don't know where it's going. So, again, where you're seeking your thrills, your entertainment, your pleasure, and are you ready for the consequence or the price tag of that? Now, the underlying energy is strength. Some of you, there's a tie to a Leo person. For others of you, this may center on children, romance, your health, your vitality, your sense of confidence. The Strength card says you're going to need to have some fortitude to deal with a situation, to move forward. There could be questions of loyalty, being supportive, being helpful, being there for the other person, being generous, having strength of character, acting in your conviction, and perhaps trying to persuade a situation, which may be important with issues of cooperation or in court or trying to come up with some kind of agreement. And so it's a time where either of you shouldn't be bullying the other person, being domineering or narcissistic or temperamental. This is about having the fortitude to go the distance. What are you made of? How solid is your connection to this other person? What's the confidence you have in yourself? You may have to, strongly rely on yourself. And this is you also knowing that if you've done your best, you can't allow the other person to play a guilt card on you. You may have to step away from a situation to regain your composure, your peace of mind with regard to circumstances, because there could also be some issues of fear or doubt that drive decisions, and you don't make the best decision because you're doubting yourself. You're not getting what you deserve, whether that's in finances or, sharing the responsibility or the load or somebody being unfair to you. You may settle for less than what you deserve because you don't have confidence or belief in yourself that you deserve it. So your doubts, your fear of failure, fear that your partner is going to seek some form of retribution, they're going to seek revenge on you, fear perhaps that you're not good enough, pretty enough, smart enough, rich enough. So you're going to have to overcome that doubt. So the strength to empower yourself is going to be important. And there's some kind of message, perhaps a strong, forceful message, perhaps an empowering message. This could be a message of love that you're going to send or you're going to receive. Maybe it's a romantic message. So, it may be an invitation, a letter, a text message, an email, a phone call. There's some kind of important message. And the strength of that message can either empower you or perhaps, undermine your confidence. The advice card is, I am capable of sustaining love even when it's difficult. So again, this is about fortitude. It's staying the course even when the road gets rocky, or even when your partner is difficult or you're facing difficult circumstances. Can you sustain that love? Can you be there through the good and the bad? The outcome is the King of Coins and the Queen of Swords. So this is earth energy. It may represent you or a Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. And again, we have air energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Earth and air is, and they're opposite from one another. They're not friends, obviously. So there may be thoughts of separating from this King of Coins or cutting him off, or perhaps the King of Coins decides he wants to cut someone off. The King of Coins is very practical. He's about business. He's about money, wealth, finances. So that could be a concern. Perhaps you're trying to establish something, maybe with a partner. Maybe getting some advice about this. Perhaps this Queen of Swords is going to advise. She may be an attorney, a counselor, a mediator, a judge. And it may have concerns related to property, real estate, money, finances, assets. Again, trying to establish something that would allow some permanence, some new opportunities that would provide emotionally and financially. Again, this is the provider. He's interested in preparing things for his family, paying the bills, looking at the bottom line. If he's in investments, he wants something that's conservative. He doesn't want to risk everything in one go. As a matter of fact, if you're presenting something to him, he's not going to invest if he doesn't feel like it's worth it. Now, that's a judgment call. And so it may be according to his value system. He may be very traditional or conservative, very dogmatic, very narrow-minded in thinking. He may not be all that imaginative. So it all depends on who he is. Now, in his shadow, money is everything. The finances are everything. It's money above all else. And he's willing to sell himself out or sell his family out or whatever need be in order to gain what he wants. This queen is turning her back on, there's a decision to turn her back. Or again, she's doing some advice. You may be cutting something off where somebody has been critical or controlling the money or the assets. You may be getting some advice about that. This queen makes her decisions based on some past disappointments that she's experienced. Whatever those may be, health challenges, financial hardships, betrayal, separation. She wants no part of that. She's making some decisions. She's using her intellect and her intuition to guide her. She may be seeing more than one suitor, not as a player, but so that she can make the best choice for herself. So this is going to be a period where you're trying to make some important decisions to establish yourself. This king wants to settle down. He wants long-term permanence, something stable. So he wants to connect to people who think like he does. So you may be seeking out people who share your values. And if they don't share your values, if they don't subscribe to the same view of life that you have, you may decide to cut them off because you want to avoid any kind of hardship, misunderstanding, any form of betrayal. Now, this Queen of Swords is going to use her intuition. So this is a time where you can use your intuition, your knowledge, your analytical skills to make a decision that probably will save you in some way. You're going to avert some form of impending challenge or disaster, and probably at the last minute. Again, this may come through someone else, some advice or counsel. So you're making a decision that ties to a legacy. So it could be a large piece of property, it could be a will, inheritance, assets, it could be decisions that connect to family dynasties where you're involved with somebody and their family has a great deal of power, wealth, and influence. So there's some decisions about the history of something, the legacy, the permanence. Now, you have... how many major cards? You have 3 major cards, so that's fairly significant. You have the Judgment card, so important decisions, rethinking about whether you're on the right course, and you're going to have to be patient. That's your key to moving through obstacles, being patient as opposed to antagonistic toward others. And you also have the Justice card, acting with integrity, being above board, because you're making a judgment about something being fair. You're taking perhaps your partner to task. And if you have fallen short in any way, that's going to be reciprocated. Your partner is sure to let you know how you're failing. So integrity is going to be important, and try to avoid being rude or arrogant. And you have the Strength card, which is about your fortitude, your strength of character, your physical strength, your vitality, your confidence, and whether you're using your better strengths or you're allowing fear to guide you. Now, this situation has to do with a lack of movement, perhaps not enough communication, not enough forward movement, nothing really going on. There could be some health issues where somebody's trying to restore balance. So somebody could be recuperating. You're trying to figure out what to do, what the next move is. And you may decide to put your frustration aside, go within, take a break, use your intuition, connect with spirit, whatever you need to do to come up with answers. But you can't just wish or hope something is going to go away. You're going to have to address it, and you're weighing your options. It could be about resources, whether you have enough or you don't, to opportunities or juggling responsibilities. You want to accommodate your partner as well as yourself. So you may be restructuring some things, your time, your energy, your money. Maybe you get a second job. Maybe you change your budget. Maybe you travel. There's something about your situation that has some ups and downs to it. It could be emotional ups and downs, financial ups and downs. So you're weighing your options and trying to figure out what the best thing to do is. And there are some questions here from the past that are influencing these current decisions, trying to figure out how to get satisfaction. It may tie to money, checks, documents, papers, satisfying something, perhaps a debt. And attention to detail is going to be important. There's a timing factor that is critical in your circumstances. And you have something to do with exchanges, transactions, or the development of ideas. So this is going to be a challenging situation that ties to your ambitions. And it's going to have an impact on your destiny. You're looking at the future, the people that are tied to your future, where you're headed. It may have to do with shared assets, resources. You're looking at agreements, your partnerships, contracts, what's being reciprocated, what you're giving versus what you're getting back. Whether you're with someone because you want to be or because you have a fear. And you're looking closely at your partnerships, how you're dealing with the people in your life, and how you are allowing yourself to be dealt with. All right, Taurus, I hope you enjoyed this reading. Don't forget to subscribe. Please hit that notify bell button. Let's make some positive change in your relationship. Let's create a love revolution.